Hello and welcome to WWLeeTV. This is my episode 2 podcast. Happy to be back. Hope you are too. Hope you enjoyed the first one. Really enjoyed doing it. As I say, this will be a weekly thing now. All my news and rumors will be done through YouTube on a live podcast. So this is my second episode. Hope you guys are all keeping well. Glad to be back. And as you can see there, all of our social media links are on the screen, or they should be. If not, please let me know. But myself and Ricky do have our podcast up and running. We'll be doing another one, hopefully, on Saturday. I think it'll be our third one now, guys. So as you can see, Ricky's links are there. Black White Soul on YouTube, Black White Soul Twitter, Black White Soul on Facebook, Black White Soul EID on Instagram, and myself, WWLeeTV on YouTube. Please subscribe. WWLeeTV on Twitter, and I will be setting up a Facebook page eventually, and it's Lily since 85 on Instagram. So that's all the social medias stuff out the way. Okay, so it's been a funny couple of weeks in the world of WWE. I came on last week and gave you some news and rumors. This week, I'll be doing the same thing, obviously, but I just want to start out by saying how sad I was to hear about the passing of Dusty Rhodes. I'm sure many of you were. He was a legend in the wrestling business. I found out on Twitter that it had happened, and I was quite taken back. I was shocked and saddened, like many of you were. I mean, for one thing, it was one hell of a shock and a surprise. I mean, you know, we've seen him on TV recently. We know he works at NXT. I didn't know that he was ill, and to find out that he had died suddenly is quite a shock. I'm starting to hear rumors that he did have some health problems. I don't know the full story and what happened to him and why he died, but it is just awful. And my condolences go to his sons, Cody and Dustin, aka Stardust and Goldust, and all the family as well. Condolences. And it's a sad time because it's hit many people hard, especially in WWE. He left quite a mark on everyone, and he worked closely with a lot of people, and a lot of sad times. So awful news about Dusty Rhodes there. TMZ, you know what they're like, but they've somehow managed to get the video recording, or audio recording, should I say, of the 911 call. And there's all this talk about how the person that took the call just seemed quite frustrated and annoyed. So, but yeah, I mean, it's sad and awful. Yeah, I've listened to it, and it's not good. 911 people shouldn't be dealing with people like that. They should be trying to keep them calm, and they weren't. So that's one of the reasons TMZ reported on it. But should they have posted the 911 recording? I don't think so. I think some things have just best left alone, you know. But anyway, I loved what WWE done during Money in the Bank and also on Raw with their tributes and video packages for Dusty Rhodes. Great videos, and obviously the superstars all sharing their stories and memories of Dusty Rhodes. So, it was damn right. I mean, you know, they should have paid tribute, and they did, and they done it in a hell of a way. And also watched the documentary that they done on the network just after Raw. Really good to watch. Just some old interviews with Dusty Rhodes and Triple H and Stephanie, just telling their stories, and it was really well done and really touching, and did bring a tear to my eye. I don't know a great deal about Dusty Rhodes. He was a bit before my time, but I've learned a bit about him through the years, and I have seen a few matches. The one with Ric Flair, the cage match, really, really, really good. Obviously, the infamous interview, the Hard Times interview that he done, I've watched that several times now. Amazing stuff. And he will go down as one of maybe not the best talker in the history of wrestling. He talked from the soul. He talked from the heart. He gave it his all. He said himself, he's a chubby guy in the belly and in the bum. But when you've got as much heart and passion as he has, you can go anywhere. He won world titles. So anyone out there who doesn't think they can make it because of their size, if you can bring enough heart and passion, just like Dusty Rhodes did, then you can go all the way. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. Anyone. So Dusty Rhodes, thank you for everything that you did. Thank you for paving the way for younger talent and showing them the way. And thank you for being who you were and leaving the mark that you did on WWE. Rest in peace, Goldust. Sorry, rest in peace, Dusty Rhodes. Okay, so let's lighten the mood now, guys. As you know, E3 is literally going on this week, and I pretty much only keep my ear to the ground for one game in particular, and that is my favorite game release of the year. Pretty much because it's the only one of the games I play. I'm not a big gamer, but it is none other than WWE 2K. And this year they'll be releasing WWE 2K16. And finally, for the first year in quite a while, they are at E3. They have their own booth and what have you. And they've released some information on the game. And that information is on the first 6 superstars announced for the game. And I will read them to you now. I haven't seen any visuals of the game yet. Whether they release that during the week or later on, we'll have to wait and see. But the first superstars that have been confirmed for this game are Seth Rollins, of course, Daniel Bryan. So glad Daniel Bryan's in this game. Whew! Dean Ambrose. Can't wait to see his new attire and his entrance. Bad News Barrett. Paige, of course, and Finn Balor. For all you Finn Balor fans, including myself, that is some awesome news. Hopefully they give him different attires, like just give him shitloads of different attires that we can choose from if we can play as him. That's fantastic. Good lineup there. They haven't said much more about that, but they do have a booth and they're there this week. So hopefully we get some more information as the week goes by. And the next podcast that I'll do on News and Rumors, hopefully I'll have some more for you on these. So 2K is pretty much my favorite game to play. I just love wrestling games. They're fun and easy to play, especially multiplayer. Last year I enjoyed, but I didn't find myself playing it a lot, and I still don't. Just got bored of it quite quickly. I'm still going to go on collecting, these wrestling games that they produce, especially now 2K have got involved. I mean, the graphics last year were unbelievable. And they've said that they're going to make the graphics this year even better. So I can't wait to see some visuals. Overhauling the gameplay yet again. Sometimes that's not necessarily a good thing, especially when they can never seem to get the controls right or the flow right. So let's just hope they get it right this year. They're really getting their teeth into these games now on wrestling. They've done WWE 14. They've done a bit of it. 2K15 was the one that they finally got their teeth into, but this year had it for a couple of years now. Hopefully they've been really working on making a great wrestling game. I'm hearing rumors that it's basically the largest roster ever in a wrestling game. Obviously you've heard some of the lineup there, but who knows who else we could get. I mean, hopefully maybe even Dusty Rhodes, for example. Just a real thick, deep roster. Also, in terms of the story mode, it's going to be centered around Stone Cold. Now, I've got no problem with that because he's basically my favorite of all time, and I'll never get bored of playing as Stone Cold. But I'm looking up at my game collection now, and I can see I've got 2K, not 2K, it was known as WWE 13 back then, but it was the Stone Cold Special Edition that I purchased, and he was obviously one of the cover superstars as an option. All centered around the Attitude Era, obviously centered around what Stone Cold got up to during that time. So is it a good thing that they're doing it again? Are they just rehashing all the stories and matches that we had in WWE 13? Or are they coming at it from a different angle? Are they making it better somehow? Or are they kind of going to go for an Attitude Era 2? Like perhaps from where it ended on WWE 13 and perhaps picking up from where Stone Cold turns heel at WrestleMania 17. I'd like to see that. I think that's pretty much where we finished off in WWE 13. So to pick up WWE 2K16 from him turning heel and in the Invasion storyline and WCW and ECW coming in, I'd love that. That would be awesome because it's like the final part of the Attitude Era that year. So maybe that's what they're thinking of doing. And if they say that it's the largest roster ever, it could be a sign there that they're looking at bringing in not just WWE, but WCW and ECW as characters to play, because they had a heavy, heavy role in the 2001 Invasion storyline, which lasted obviously a good 6 months, which was one of my favorites ever. Some great moments and great memories from that. So I'd like to see that in the new game. What else would I like to see? Well, better controls, as I say, better graphics, and never complain at that. I'd like them to bring back instant replays as an option in the main menu when you pause the game. I do miss that because when you throw someone off the Hell in the Cell and they land funny, it's always worth watching again. And for some reason, you just can't in this one, apart from the automatic ones they do at the end that go too quickly. So I'd like to be able to have the option to pause and watch back instant replays. And for God's sake, the biggest thing for me, what I loved about wrestling games from when I was a kid was backstage fighting. And I mean really good backstage fighting. I remember like SmackDown when I first had that, and Here Comes the Pain. You could go out the back, you could fight. I mean, you had helicopters, you had limousines, you had lorries and pickup trucks, whatever you could find, you could use. The environment was so much better, and you could use it, and it was entertaining. And because of all these PG bullshit, you just don't get that anymore. And oh no, we don't want to do any backstage fighting because it's violent and all that. No, parents will buy their games, buy games for their kids. It's down to the parent at the end of the day. They don't want their kids playing that sort of thing. It's the parents' fault, not WWE's. Damn it, WWE! You've got more than just kids watching. I'm 29, going on 30. And I want some brutal backstage fighting in my games. I want some non-PG stuff going on during Raw and pay-per-views, backstage brawls, all the stuff we used to get during the Attitude Era. I'm not going to harp on here about that sort of stuff, but please, WWE, just remember that it's not just kids that watch, And if parents are watching with their kids, send them out if they don't like it, or just don't let them watch it. Just every now and then, give us an adult show, God. Anyway, I don't want to harp on about the Attitude Era. More Stone Cold news. As I said in the last podcast on News and Rumors that I done, the biggest thing for me going through this year that I'll be reporting on is Stone Cold and WrestleMania 32. Now, the rumor mill was just a blaze with regards to Stone Cold and what he said on the podcast that he done with Paul Heyman, being, what would happen if he wrestled Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32. Now, since I last came on here, apparently there is no intention of having Lesnar Austin at WrestleMania 32. Heyman said that is not a plan at all. Austin has said that he's not even thinking about it. It was just something to talk about on the podcast. Now, the way that Vince McMahon looked at it was if they were going into business for themselves and that was a plan of theirs. But Vince wasn't happy because Vince has a plan for WrestleMania 32, and I hear that's Brock Rock, not Brock Austin. So he was pissed about the way that podcast ended because they made it look like this Brock Lesnar Stone Cold match was going to happen. But according to the man himself, Stone Cold, that is not a plan. Paul Heyman said that as well. It would suck if it doesn't, because as I say, that would be the biggest thing to get me overseas to watch WrestleMania next year, is having Stone Cold there. But, you know, they could just be lying. You know, no, we're never going to do that match. That's never going to happen. And we get like to the night after Royal Rumble, and then bang, they announce the match. It's a huge surprise. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but I'm going to keep a close eye, I promise, on this. I will. I want to see it. Do you guys want to see it? I asked you this in the last podcast, but what do you want to see as the main event at WrestleMania 32 with 100,000 people plus in attendance? Let me know in the comments, please. That, for me, is the big one. Brock Austin. That wouldn't be a wrestling match. That's just a all-out beating the shit out of each other brawl. So let me know what you think, please. Yeah, so there's a couple of bits there. Let's see what else we've got here on the news and rumor front. As I say, guys, if you want to hear me talk about anything in particular, if you have any questions, please put it in the comments section, or message me, or tweet me, because I love hearing feedback from you guys, and I love talking to you. And if there's anything that you want me to talk about, or a question that you want answered, put the question into the comments section or on my Twitter, and I will answer that tweet or question from the comment section on the podcast live. And if you want me to, I can name you, give you the credit. And yeah, let's just get this podcast rolling. I want to grow the audience, and I want to make it the best one for you to listen to. I love doing it. Much better than my 2 or 3 minute videos, in my opinion. I just enjoy sitting here, shooting the breeze, as Stone Cold would say, talking about wrestling. So yeah, just love doing it. So please let me know what you think, because it all helps. So obviously we've just come off Money in the Bank and Monday Night Raw. Now I'll be getting into this with Ricky on our next podcast. For me, Money in the Bank was okay. It was just okay. Owens Cena 2 wasn't as good as the first one, but still a great match. I kind of think they shouldn't just keep doing the finishing move and then pins and then kick outs at 2. Because for me, that isn't telling a story. Although, however exciting it is, the story isn't there, because it's just, Cena hits his finisher, goes for the pin. Owens kicks out. Owen goes for a finisher, goes for the pin, gets to 2. Cena kicks out. So I guess if obviously this third match between the two is going to happen, so maybe they'll throw stipulation in, maybe they'll change the style. But for God's sake, I want Owens to win. I wanted Owens to win the second match, so I want him to win this third one. And if the belts or whatever are going to be on the line, god damn, can you imagine Kevin Owens returning to NXT with the US title? Love to see it. Throw a real swerve into WWE, and that's what it needs, because Monday Night Raw was dull, and the only exciting thing that happened during it was Lesnar returning, and also me eating dinner. I was enjoying the food more than Raw. The only saving grace was Lesnar's return at the end. So he will be facing Seth Rollins at Battleground, which is surprising because SummerSlam is the pay-per-view after, and I didn't think that Lesnar would be coming back to wrestle on the pay-per-view until then. So it's quite a surprise, because if the Raw ratings are struggling and they're not getting as many views as they had hoped, Lesnar's the man to bring in the views. So he'll be facing Seth Rollins at Battleground. So yeah, I mean, it's a hard one to predict, because if Lesnar wins and wins the title, who does he face? SummerSlam. Does this mean perhaps a Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar 2? Obviously, it happened at WrestleMania. Or will we perhaps see Rollins retain somehow? Could he win without cheating? If he does cheat, we're going to win. And then do we see perhaps a Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar triple threat at SummerSlam? Or could we see Dean Ambrose thrown in? Obviously, he's been feuding with Seth Rollins. I would love to see the Shield. Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar on a fatal four-way at SummerSlam. That would be one hell of a main event. Them four in the ring for the title. God damn, that would be awesome. So I'm just booking away the year here. There's just stuff I'd love to see. Obviously, you're probably the same as me. There's stuff you'd love to see. There's matches you'd love to see. Please let me know what they are, because you know, we're flying through the year. We're nearly at SummerSlam, so just let me know what you'd like to see going through the year here. In terms of news and rumors as well, TNA. I don't like talking about them too much because I just don't really watch it, but it does say here that it could be going under, basically. I think they've been struggling getting their deal on with any other network because they got dropped from the last one, but I don't really have high hopes for TNA. Let me know if you guys watch it at all, because I think they're really struggling, and Vince Russo pretty much fucked them over in terms of the behavior that he had this year, from what I hear. And it was probably the networks that didn't like him as much as they didn't like TNA being on TV, you know? So yeah, there's a lot going on at the moment. Lots of different things, including a possible John Cena injury that he suffered at Money in the Bank, which is why we didn't see him on Raw. I don't know what the injury is yet, but he was kept off Raw for that reason. He may have an injury. I'm not too sure how severe that is yet, but that is what it's saying here. I won't go any more into it because it doesn't really say anymore. But I did wonder why he wasn't on Raw, and then I checked it out, and then, yeah, he may have an injury. So, yeah, there's all sorts of things going on at the moment, guys. As I say, these podcasts, depending on how much news and rumors there are, maybe short, maybe long, but I would just try and get as much together as I can before I come on here. This week it was fairly slim pickings. Obviously, the main ones I've gone through. Lots of different things going on. But let me know what you think about each of the stories and news and rumors I've told you about tonight. Leave your thoughts and comments in the section below. As I say, myself and Ricky will be doing another podcast this weekend, going over all things Money in the Bank and Raw, going into Battleground, and so on. Yep, so that'll be this weekend. So check out my Twitter, WWLeeTV. I'll be going through, letting you know on there when we'll be going live. So I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. And I will see you all very soon. Ciao for now.